The cryptocurrency exchange ByBit has suffered a massive cyber attack, resulting in the theft of 401,000 Ethereum. This amount is equivalent to approximately $1.5 billion, making this breach the largest known hack in the history of the crypto industry. The scale of this crime is so staggering that it may be considered not only the biggest in crypto history, but also one of the most significant financial crimes of all time. The stolen funds didn't just disappear from the exchange, they were taken as part of a carefully planned and highly sophisticated attack that bypassed all levels of the system's security. While cryptocurrency thefts by hackers are not uncommon, the amount stolen in this case is unprecedented. No other crypto exchange hack has ever caused such colossal financial losses in such a short time. This incident has sent shockwaves through the crypto community and the financial world at large. Experts are already calling it a blow to the entire crypto industry, as such attacks undermine trust in exchanges and cast doubt on the security of even the largest platforms. Immediately after the ByBit hack, suspicion fell on the Lazarus Group, one of the most dangerous hacker organizations in the world, operating under the control of the North Korean government. By the way, we've already made a video about them. The Lazarus Group is once again at the center of a scandal, but this is far from the first time this hacking group has attacked global financial systems. Over the past decade, they have repeatedly proven their ability to breach even the most secure systems, steal hundreds of millions of dollars, and vanish without a trace, all while funding North Korea's military programs. One of their most infamous attacks was the 2022 hack of Ronin Bridge, in which hackers stole $600 million. Ronin Bridge is a blockchain bridge that facilitates fund transfers between the Ethereum network and the game Axie Infinity. The Lazarus Group gained access to validator private keys, which authorized transactions and transferred the funds to their own wallets. This attack went unnoticed for 6 days before the platform's owners realized that the money was gone. The hackers didn't just take the funds. They immediately began breaking them into smaller amounts and laundering them through decentralized exchanges and crypto mixers like Tornado Cash. The US imposed sanctions on the wallets used in the theft, but a significant portion of the funds remained in North Korean hands. A year earlier, in 2021, the group targeted the KuCoin cryptocurrency exchange. Hackers breached the exchange's hot wallets and stole $275 million in various crypto assets, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. The Lazarus Group used a similar strategy. After obtaining the funds, they laundered them through decentralized exchanges that did not require user identification. KuCoin's owners claimed they managed to recover over 80% of the stolen funds, but the details of this process remain undisclosed. However, the Lazarus Group doesn't only target cryptocurrency platforms. In 2014, they launched a high-profile attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment. They infiltrated the company's internal system and stole over 100 terabytes of confidential data. Unreleased movies, internal executive emails, and even employees' salary records were leaked online. The primary motivation behind the attack was the release of the movie The Interview, which mocked North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The hackers demanded that Sony cancel the film's release and even threatened terrorist attacks at theaters planning to show it. Due to the pressure and fear of potential attacks, many theaters pulled the movie, and it was ultimately released only online. Sony suffered hundreds of millions of dollars in losses, and the US officially accused North Korea of cyber terrorism. Another demonstration of the Lazarus Group's sophisticated tactics was their 2016 attack on the Bangladesh Federal Reserve. The hackers managed to infiltrate the SWIFT International Financial Transfer System and steal $81 million. They forged payment requests on behalf of the Bangladesh Bank, attempting to transfer a total of $1 billion. However, due to a spelling mistake in one of the documents, an intermediary bank grew suspicious and blocked part of the transaction. Nonetheless, $81 million still reached the hackers, and most of the funds were quickly laundered through casinos in Manila. The ByBit hack is just the latest proof that their methods are becoming even more sophisticated, and the consequences are growing even more severe. If you want a super detailed video about the Lazarus Group, let us know in the comments. Now, let's get back to the ByBit breach. How was the money stolen? The attack on ByBit was so sophisticated that it bypassed all levels of security checks without raising any suspicion. At the core of the hack was an intricate manipulative trick that allowed hackers to intercept funds by exploiting a vulnerability in the process of transferring cryptocurrency from cold wallets to hot wallets. Like any major crypto exchange, ByBit operates with two types of wallets: hot wallets and cold wallets. Hot wallets are used for daily transactions. They are connected to the internet, enabling users to instantly buy, sell, or withdraw cryptocurrency. However, due to their constant online accessibility, they are the most vulnerable to attacks. To prevent major losses in case of a breach, the exchange keeps most of its assets in so-called cold wallets. These wallets are completely isolated from the internet and are considered highly secure since hackers cannot access them directly. However, every crypto exchange must periodically replenish its hot wallets to maintain liquidity for users. When a hot wallet's balance runs low, the exchange initiates a transfer from a cold wallet. This critical moment became the hacker's entry point. ByBit relies on a third-party service called Safe Wallet to securely manage transfers between cold and hot wallets. This service follows a strict procedure. When the exchange initiates a transfer, the system generates a transaction that must be approved by authorized signers, individuals responsible for verifying the details before the funds are finally sent. Only after their confirmation does the transaction become valid, allowing the cryptocurrency to be transferred to the designated address. The hackers understood that gaining direct access to the cold wallet or breaking the signature approval process would be nearly impossible. So instead, they found a way to modify the recipient's address without altering any other parameters. Visually, everything appeared correct to the signers. The system displayed that the funds were being sent to ByBit's official hot wallet. But on a deeper technical level, the actual transaction had already been altered. This manipulation was achieved through a highly advanced method that allowed the hackers to modify key transaction details before they were signed, while leaving all other information unchanged. As a result, even ByBit's most experienced security specialists did not detect the switch. They checked the transaction against system data, saw the expected amount and the correct routing details, and therefore approved the transfer without hesitation. The moment the final send button was pressed, there was no way to stop the transfer. In an instant, over $1.5 billion in Ethereum landed in the hands of the attackers. The hack was so swift and meticulously planned that the exchange had no chance to detect the issue until it was far too late. It was only after the funds had vanished that ByBit's team began analyzing the sequence of events and uncovered the shocking truth. They had unknowingly sent their own money directly to the hackers. The security system never triggered any alarms because, on paper, everything appeared to be functioning as intended. But in reality, the company had just fallen victim to one of the most sophisticated cryptocurrency thefts in history. ByBit reacted immediately, issuing several urgent statements. The exchange knew that user trust was at risk, and its reputation could be permanently damaged if the situation was not handled swiftly. That's why the first thing ByBit's leadership did was reassure all customers that none of them would lose their funds. This was a bold move, considering that the total amount of stolen assets was approximately $1.5 billion. However, ByBit announced that it had taken emergency financial measures to cover the losses. To ensure the safety of customer funds, the exchange secured loans and used its own reserves to fully compensate the stolen amount. While this had a significant impact on the company's financial stability, management decided not to pass the burden onto customers and refused to make them bear any losses from the incident. This allowed ByBit to maintain user trust and demonstrate that, even in the most critical moments, it was capable of protecting its clients. But ByBit didn't stop at just covering the losses. The company decided to declare war on the hackers and launched a large-scale effort to track down the stolen funds. The exchange announced a special bounty program for anyone who could help trace the movement of the stolen assets or provide valuable information about the attackers. This initiative quickly yielded results. Within just a few days, 20 volunteers provided valuable data on the hackers' transactions and collectively received $4 million in rewards. ByBit understood that hackers couldn't simply convert the stolen assets into fiat currency without leaving a trace. Every blockchain transaction leaves a digital footprint, and with enough effort, it can be detected and tracked. That's why the exchange not only engaged independent researchers, but also partnered with leading crypto analytics firms specializing in tracking illicit transactions. One of the key organizations involved in the investigation was the FBI. U.S. federal agencies have long been fighting cyber criminals and have been particularly focused on tracking Lazarus Group, the North Korean hacking syndicate suspected of being behind this attack. The FBI has repeatedly stated that North Korea uses stolen cryptocurrency to fund its military programs, and this case further reinforced their previous findings. In addition to the FBI, Elliptic, a blockchain analytics company specializing in tracking illegal cryptocurrency transactions, also joined the investigation. Using advanced blockchain analysis algorithms, Elliptic began unraveling the complex transaction patterns used by the hackers to launder the stolen funds. It was revealed that the criminals weren't just transferring large amounts of cryptocurrency to new wallets. They were also using mixing technologies, breaking down massive sums into hundreds of smaller transactions that were then dispersed across dozens of different platforms. ByBit also reached out to other cryptocurrency exchanges, urging them to block any suspicious transfers linked to the stolen assets. Some exchanges immediately supported ByBit's initiative and agreed to assist in tracking the funds. However, not all companies were willing to cooperate. For example, X, an exchange through which experts estimate at least $94 million of the stolen funds had passed, refused to take action to freeze the assets. Its owner, Johann Roberts, stated that he had a long-standing conflict with ByBit and that he had no proof that these funds were directly linked to the hack. Despite this, ByBit remains committed to the fight, bringing in more specialists, analyzing every movement of the stolen funds, and using all available methods to prevent further misuse of the assets. Although the hackers have demonstrated a high level of organization and professionalism, ByBit is confident that with enough support from the international crypto community and law enforcement agencies, they can recover at least part of the assets and prevent future crimes. The stolen funds didn't stay in one place for long. The hackers immediately began executing a complex money laundering scheme to obscure their tracks and make recovery nearly impossible. This operation was planned even before the hack, and as soon as they gained control over the billion-dollar assets, they started scattering Ethereum across hundreds of thousands of different transactions. Crypto analysts from Elliptic quickly detected a massive movement of funds. The stolen Ethereum was transferred to thousands of brand-new wallet addresses, ones that had never been used before. This is a classic tactic used by cybercriminals to make tracking transactions more difficult. Each large sum was instantly broken down into numerous smaller transfers, spreading in different directions to create the appearance of chaotic movement. Then came the mixers, special services that blend cryptocurrency from different users, making it difficult to trace the original source of a transaction. Mixers have become a standard tool for cybercriminals because they break the link between addresses, making it nearly impossible to follow the money trail. Essentially, the stolen crypto gets shuffled with other assets, which makes identifying it significantly harder. Another tool used was hop wallets, multiple intermediary addresses through which the funds passed before reaching their final destination. The hackers deployed automated algorithms that randomly routed funds through dozens of these intermediary wallets, creating confusion for investigators. Each transaction could pass through dozens of these hops before the trail disappeared completely. One of the key tactics used by North Korean hackers is that they don't carry out these operations manually. They have a highly sophisticated automated system that designs transfer patterns, selects mixers and hop wallets, and processes transactions in real time. These algorithms work at incredible speeds, allowing them to launder billions of dollars in just a few days. Cybersecurity experts note that after these kinds of manipulations, recovering stolen funds is nearly impossible. Once cryptocurrency passes through enough mixers and hop wallets, it can be withdrawn to any exchange, converted into different assets, or ultimately cashed out into fiat currency. This is why ByBit and law enforcement agencies are trying to act as quickly as possible. The longer the funds remain under the hackers' control, the harder they are to track and block. What's next? While it's still too early to draw final conclusions, several worrying trends have already emerged that could shape the future of the crypto industry. This incident is yet another reminder that hackers, especially those operating at a state-sponsored level, are nearly unstoppable. The North Korean Lazarus Group has once again demonstrated an exceptional level of expertise, forcing even the largest exchanges to reconsider the security of their systems. For years, Lazarus Group has stunned the world with its sophisticated attack strategies, and the ByBit case only reinforces their reputation as the most dangerous cybercriminals in the crypto space. They don't just exploit existing vulnerabilities in security systems. They invent new attack methods that outpace current defense mechanisms. Every breach proves that even the most experienced cybersecurity specialists cannot predict every possible attack vector. This incident makes it clear that no exchange, regardless of size or security measures, can be completely certain of its safety. This raises serious concerns for the entire crypto industry. With every new hack, public trust in exchanges and digital assets weakens. If even giants like ByBit can't guarantee fund security, what does that mean for smaller companies that lack both the security infrastructure and the financial reserves to compensate for potential losses? As a result of this breach, exchanges will likely have to rethink their security policies, implement stricter verification procedures, and increase oversight of their internal systems. But will that be enough? Another major issue is the lack of a unified security approach within the crypto industry itself. The conflict between ByBit and the exchange X has once again shown that there are no universal standards or coordinated rules in the digital asset ecosystem. While some platforms actively cooperate with law enforcement and try to stop money laundering, others, like EX, effectively facilitate these processes by taking no action. EX's owner, Johan Roberts, even publicly stated that he sees no reason to block suspicious transactions, citing his company's long-standing conflict with ByBit. This highlights the fact that the crypto world remains fragmented, with no industry-wide security mechanisms in place. This situation raises more questions than answers. Will any of the stolen billions be recovered before they disappear into laundering networks? Can law enforcement and blockchain analysts intercept even a portion of these funds? Or do hackers now have such an advantage that most of the stolen assets will remain in their hands? Right now, it seems like the hackers are winning. But an even bigger issue is the future of crypto exchange regulations. Will this hack lead to stricter rules and limitations? Will governments and financial regulators use this event as justification to increase control over cryptocurrencies? There are already signs that, after each high-profile incident, governments push harder to regulate the sector. And for many policymakers, cases like this serve as fuel for stricter oversight and intervention. Finally, how much will this incident damage crypto's reputation? Every time a major hack occurs, public skepticism about digital assets grows. For everyday users, cryptocurrency is already complex and difficult to understand, and events like this only reinforce the perception that it's an unsafe and unreliable market. In a world where financial security is a top priority, each new breach erodes trust in crypto and makes more people question whether digital assets are even worth using. This investigation could be a turning point for the entire industry. If ByBit and law enforcement manage to track and freeze the stolen funds, it would be a major victory against cybercrime. But if the hackers successfully launder the entire $1.5 billion, it will only prove that the current security system is failing and that the crypto industry remains highly vulnerable to organized criminal groups. This story is far from over.